John with Go Mobile, and today we are going to head up to, just check to make sure all my wheels are on. We're going to head over to a shop I normally do a lot of work at and go look at their truck. What they got going on with the truck is they got an intermediate time that sometimes the truck starts and sometimes it don't. So we're going to take a look at and make sure it's not a starter or something in that nature, because they don't want to get it out of town and not want to start up ever again. So we're going to get over there, take a look at it, and see what we got going on. Hopefully it's nothing bad. Hopefully it's nothing bad at all. I don't really want to replace the starter on a new engine right now. Not today. Maybe it's just a relay. It's not inside the starter. It might be up in the switch, sending signal down to the starter to fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the starter here. As you can see, there's a little wire on the starter. Not that one up there, but there's a little wire on that starter that activates it. We're going to make sure that there's no coils up here, because sometimes there's a starting solenoid that's remote that they run up to them, and I don't see that anywhere. Oh, there she is, right there. I don't know if you guys can see that down in there. Can you guys see that? That's a little solenoid on top. Those go to bad all the time, and when they do go bad, it causes starters to fail. Oh, look. Gotta put one of those chicken legs back in. Oh, rubber's out. We'll have to tape that back in, glue it. But, yeah, sorry, ADD. We're gonna get the starter solenoid checked out real quick. We're gonna hook to it. We're gonna remotely activate the starter many times to make sure that it's not inside the computer that's running this. It could be right here. I think that's yep, starter relay right there. We'll make sure it ain't in here, make sure it ain't in any of these. Make sure that they, in the future, are not gonna have problems with the starter. Okay, so what I'm gonna use to just test the starter itself is, as you can tell, I have the starter solenoid switch wire right here. That is disconnected, it's just sitting off to the side. I'm gonna hook this to your main positive feed down at the bottom of the starter. I shouldn't say at the bottom, but at the coil. Then I already hooked up a remote wire, which is right here. I already hooked that up because it's a tight area. So then I'll connect this little lead to this remote wire, which, as a mobile mechanic, I guarantee you got jumper wires somewhere. There it is, right there. Then I'll take this one and I'll run it all the way down to the positive lead. It is out of gear. That is always an important one. And we're just going to bump it. As you can tell right there, the starter is not the issue. So now we'll connect everything back. But before we go and connect everything back, now we're going to run a test on this lead right here, which is our starter coil solenoid switch. And we're going to run that because there's a relay up here. And we're going to make sure that relay is kicking every time. Now, first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to run a voltage check on it. It's no amps, no heavy draw, but it's just a voltage check to make sure if the starter switch is sending power out through, because on these newer trucks it's no longer just wiring sending out. It travels through a ECM, which opens up power solenoids or coils that open up everything to get them to fire. Okay, this is pretty prehistoric, but what I got is I got this wire here connected to a ground. It's connected to my test light up here, which I got the back of the test light connected all the way back down to the wire off the coil, which I disactivated right there. Now when I go and turn the dash key switch on, hopefully I put that in a good enough place so I can see it. Now you guys see that? Let it do its thing. See? It's not doing nothing. Okay, give it a second. It's not doing nothing. Okay. Why isn't it doing nothing? I'm turning the key. As you can tell, you got a red and white coming in, big, red, white, small, big, or big coming out. There's your powers in and your power out. Now we got this little red and white, that's your signal wire coming in, which I just got it connected like that. Did you guys hear that? Let's find out where that click's coming from, because I think it's behind the dash. There should be a safety start relay somewhere in here. Let's see, listen. Not fun. Unfortunately, it's up behind the dash. I don't think it's temperature overstart on the machine. I just think it's a possibility of a switch up here. But just to be on the safe side, we're going to unplug the temperature overstart. Well, it is not the relay up under here, the fuse relay, which is right there on these Peterbilts. Right there. Can you see my finger on it? Right there. That's the one. It is not that. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull the dash. That's not what I wanted to do. But it's kind of an inconvenience, because as you're cranking it over, what happens is it rotates a couple times and kicks out. And then sometimes it just doesn't do nothing, and it spooks drivers. So we're gonna tear into it, get that track down, see where it's at. Okay, so you guys saw. Oh, I wonder why my camera's that way. Hold on a second. Okay, that looks a little better. So you guys saw right here, you could see that. You know, if you ever wonder why that is, it's because these are all the different fuse panels in the vehicle, and relay boxes and power switches. Now up behind the dash, there's a couple more relay boxes right there. I like to go with the ones that say not used. It's the one I'd like to look at. Well, shouldn't say look at, but determine. But then if you come down on the other side, you see this little one right here with the relays on it. Right down there, we're going to check to see which relay corresponds with the starter, and see which relay corresponds with the ignition switch relay. And that's going to be the ones we're going to test real. I hate to disappoint you. Sometimes they piggyback off of it. I might have to just go with the old way of testing them. So wish me luck on this one. It's already been at 4 different shops and they can't get it figured out. So let's see what I can find. Well, I just tested the switch, and it appears the switch is good. I'm going to test the power input into this to ensure this is getting the power, so to tell the ECM when to turn it on and when to turn it off. But I'm thinking they might have lost a micro switch. This is for your, it is a starter interrupter micro switch. These give trucks problems all the time. So I think this is one of them. So on this Notion, we're going to test the power input to the micro switch with right here. I'm going to stop recording for a second because I got a lot of testing to do, and you're just going to see me inside the starter area or up in here. These things go out all the time. I've replaced a lot of these in the past. It got guys off the interstate and off in the wintertime because a truck will cause or create more of a draw in the wintertime to start. These things go bad all the time, and it doesn't send power down to the starter, or it'll send interrupted power down to the starter, which therefore can burn up a starter. We're going to determine if the ECM's actually sending the right juice out, if this is correct or if this is bad. As you can hear, the truck was running. Normally the truck wouldn't start back up, so right there it is. Started. Let go of its things. Everything's back to normal. Auto works. I'd have to say, it looks like everything's good. And again, let go of its clicking and thinking, which we don't need to now. Everything looks to be good. Everything's coming on. Don't have any problem with any lights. So, until the next time, there we go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the dash back together because you can tell the dash is right there. I got pieces right there. We're going to go ahead and put it back together, shut it off. Well, she's a healthy sounding old truck. Well, I shouldn't say old truck, new truck. It's an new truck with old power. That's where you want to be. And just the little 2 wires goes right into there. And